Hey, what's up, Solutioneers? Welcome back to the vlog. With big brands now signaling support for extended producer responsibility, deposit return systems, and most recently, reuse refill, new opportunities have opened up to get policies passed and the infrastructure built out to transform how we consume products like food, beverages, personal care, and cleaning products. But with all these commitments, there also comes competing ideas around vision and strategies and tactics, and about which policies should come first and which should follow. Upstream's position has been and continues to be that EPR and DRS policies should fundamentally be about creating a circular economy for packaging that prioritizes source reduction and reuse above recycling. And that's where these ideas began. The original deposit refund systems for beverages were created by beer, soda, and dairy companies to get their bottles back for washing and refilling. The EU Packaging Directive passed in 1994 that resulted in EPR laws across Europe and began a global movement, states in the first lines of its governing manifesto that the best means of preventing the creation of packaging waste is to reduce the overall volume of packaging. But somewhere along the line, we forgot that the first two R's, that reduce and reuse, are way more important for the environment than recycling. And that's where EPR and DRS have traditionally focused to date, on improving collection and recycling and markets for recycled materials. This recycling-first approach has been the standard largely because it doesn't threaten the one-way, throwaway, disposable paradigm that governs the current practices of consumer brands, beverage, and fast food companies. Fortunately, these companies are feeling the pressure from campaigns targeting their role in plastic pollution, overconsumption, and waste. Some of these brands and some city government leaders have also expressed interest in moving beyond recycling to set up new reuse systems and infrastructure for delivering products to people. But the central problems are that the brands have invested in one-way packaging and supply chains for the last 60 to 70 years, and cities have invested in waste management and recycling systems to clean up after them. So to shift to a new reuse economy where packaging is a service and not a product is going to require reimagining and remaking supply chains while also investing in building the infrastructure to support it. EPR and DRS can help, but in order for these policies to be transformative, they have to be about more than just recycling. First, new state bills should say that the aim is to create a circular economy for packaging that follows the waste reduction hierarchy in the governing framework. Secondly, they should include provisions that prioritize building out reuse systems and infrastructure. Now, these provisions could be significantly prescriptive, like renewable portfolio, or fuel economy standards, like rates and dates reuse refill targets, where individual companies would have to sell a certain percentage of their products in reusable packaging by a certain date. Or they could be smaller, such as using a percentage of the unclaimed deposits in a DRS system to go towards reuse infrastructure. Finally, deposit return systems should come before extended producer responsibility or at the same time. This is where the rubber meets the road. There's still some division among industry leaders here, but history has shown that it's much easier to add EPR to DRS systems for beverages than in reverse. And the biggest reason is that they build out different types of infrastructure. Now, because this is complicated, I'm going to oversimplify here. So EPR is mostly focused on expanding and improving curbside recycling systems that focus on at-home collection. They don't establish mechanisms to prevent or mitigate litter, although they could fund it. Deposit return systems are often built around return to store or redemption center collection methods, although innovative systems like Clink's RFID account linked bag approach could also be applied to curbside collection just to make sure that the individual customer gets their deposits back. By assigning economic value to containers, deposit return systems help prevent litter, which EPR doesn't do. And deposit return systems keep the materials source separated so that materials like glass don't contaminate materials like paper, which is often the deal with curbside recycling. Lastly, for reuse and refill to work at scale, we're going to need deposits or some other kind of financial incentive to ensure that consumers put the reusable packaging into the right collection systems and not the garbage. Now, in this way, deposit return systems and the consumer practices they institute are helpful, and they should be established first. In the end, we're going to need all three. And the best systems that exist in the world today have both deposits for beverage containers and drop-off, as well as materials like non-deposit glass containers, EPR for everything else, often with curbside recycling, and they're working to bring reuse and refill into the mix. So in short, we need first deposit refund systems that help establish reuse refill infrastructure in addition to litter prevention, then extended producer responsibility systems that layer on top of the deposit return systems for beverages and also help to build out reuse infrastructure. And to scale, reuse refill systems can be funded and developed with and as a part of DRS and EPR systems. And over time, we want to shift more of the packaging from the garbage, recycling, and composting streams to reusable packaging systems and services because of the significantly greater environmental benefits and the economic opportunities. But the design of these systems will have similarities across business sectors. At the end of the day, these services require collection from the consumer, reverse logistics, washing and sanitizing, refilling, and/or restocking. Because of the challenges and costs associated for individual companies going it alone, it's important for businesses to be able to operate on platforms that can serve many companies at the same time. To achieve scale, will require the utilization of existing infrastructure like incorporating reusable packaging into curbside recycling or bottle deposit collection, and the development and deployment of new infrastructure like milkman bins on your front porch or in the apartment complex to collect reusable packaging when delivery drivers come. Getting there is going to be a fun ride. And to learn more about how you can get involved, please visit upstreamsolutions.org and check us out and follow us.